Alright, welcome back to PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. This is Dave, and it is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. It is a big, nice up day in the markets, and let's dive in. So, I just noticed oh well. Let's flip over here, because I think this is important. This is the S&P 500, and I've stripped away everything other than some drawings I've got on here. And this is the big nice candle that I'm talking about. So let's look at, in context here, it's a big green candle. We have buy arrows across the board, and this would be like a, hey, let's jump in, right? Well, no, I don't think so, because after a big up day like this, even though a lot of things have reversed that we're going to look at, the market would love to just pull you underwater. So maybe open up a little higher, which the futures are over here showing potential for, and then pull you underwater and just get a bunch of people frustrated, get some people to just stop out because they don't put stops under pivots, they just put them too tight, which is a common error. So I'm telling you guys, be careful with just trying to enter tomorrow off of a breakout like this. It's the kind of thing where you wanted to break out, partially during the day, maybe when you got one of these signals over here on the hourly chart that was intraday. And yeah, there's a little bit more risk to it, but knowing that, I'm telling you, the likelihood of this thing pulling back tomorrow, and then actually when it pulls back, would be a great time to get in. If you look over here on the hourly chart again, we've got an indication up here happening of basically potential top, and not that it can't go beyond that, but it's starting to actually build structure for a top, and then you pull back into these zones, this zone, this thing can roll over down here, the EMA study in the middle, and you could get in at a much lower price potentially and not take the heat. Now we are not green on the middle EMA chart here on the daily chart. So the party might be starting, but it's a dangerous spot to just throw it all in and jump in. It's every bit as dangerous as where it was when we got the white signal here. You could have just closed your eyes and bought there too, or at this retest of this pullback. And if you again look at it in context here, we got to pull back into this zone. That's potentially where you'd want to go. Now if it goes much beyond halfway through that candle of today, that would be a big tell that it's a failed breakout. While we're here, let's look at the Dow DJI. Really similar looking, although it's had a little bit of follow through after a couple days. I'm going to pull up the QQQ because it's the ETF for the NASDAQ. The other stuff is comp with something beyond it, which is over here. Go crazy. It's obviously, it had a pullback, and then I think they're all similar. We're going to expect, I would expect, to potentially, it's up against the Bollinger Band on this chart. So I mean, it's not that it can't just bust higher. We've got nice target dots already formed right off of today, but you can see if you go back on the chart a little bit, here's some target dots that formed, and then you got immediate like drawdown after that. It happens over and over again. There's some target dots that formed, and then you got a breakout higher and then a pullback. So just proceed with caution is really my message there. So we had a really nice big breakout, and that's really cool. So the S&P, let's look at the Russell. The Russell has not turned green on the bar. We're up against resistance on the 1 hour chart. But again, I do think if we get a pullback here, it's a buying opportunity. Again, though, all of this is in the face of what's already a potential oversold condition on the weekly chart, so we got to proceed with caution, or just make sure you got your stops and you get out with the rules. And then let's flip over since we're here. Let's look at oil. So oil, I've got a stop in place. It's likely going to get stopped out tomorrow. I'm just putting it above that last pivot right there, which on the hourly chart is above this high. And chances are it'll go up there even if it does pull back. It could go up there, take out my stop, and then just go lower. Oops, I just blew that up. Which is frustrating, but it's not the only position in my portfolio. Let's flip to the bullish percent indexes, where I think we had some noise today. Some good noise if you're a bull. Here's the Dow didn't move. The NYA went up by almost 2%. The transports went up by 8.33%. So that is an indication. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Not that any of this stuff is, chiseled in stone, like you should just be jumping in. 2.15% on the NASDAQ. The S&P went up by 3.37%. The OEX is the S&P 100. It didn't move, which is telling. That's interesting. But then the big one is the NDX. It didn't only just flip to a new column of X's, it tacked on 2 more X's after that. So this is where I actually say, this thing, for it to go higher from here, I think it's going to pull back and take a breath before it does. So that is a buy signal on, as far as point and figure charts go, on the NDX. So the NASDAQ 100, you can go back to your Facebooks, your basically FANG stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, and then I've added some others for the sake of Tesla and Nvidia and some of those other players that are big in that market. And finally, our automated trading systems. Here is the YM. It's just moving around, all up here in a new, area of high equity, which is good. These are our latest trades. So today was the 29th. A little back and forth, but pretty constructive all in. This is the Russell, which finally had a nice bounce today, which it's still got a lot to bounce to get back to where it was. But that was a $5,000 trade, at least in our account, with nine of those suckers for what it's worth. The NASDAQ here, same kind of thing, except we did put in a new green dot today. And this is today's trading, the 29th. So we got a $5,900 hit to the good side. And that's where I'll leave you for tonight. Take care, guys. Good trading, and have a great evening.